The year is 2018. Nations are divided, paranoia runs rampant, and as soon as you think you're safe, facts become subjective.
You are listening to Conspiracy Facts.
Jum.
Hello.
And welcome.
Back to the Conspiracy Facts podcast.
Back in black.
Back in black, I am your co-host, Jum Turner.
I am your other host, Dylan Jumzant.
And today's a very special episode. It has literally nothing to do with the word Jum. And we're talking about the Bermuda Triangle. And literally that's it. So let's just jump it. Oh God. Okay. Didn't do that on purpose. Yeah, this is so bad.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Hey guys.
Hey.
I'm Ty Turner.
I'm Dylan.
And here we are. So I thought we'd kick off this episode on the Bermuda Triangle with a question that I found while I was doing my regular scheduled research. Great. As I do before every episode, I like to look into things a bit.
I do too, but normally not the topics we're talking about. Because I usually don't know.
You show up and then it's already done.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad deal. No. So when I was researching, I came across a Yahoo Answers question. Oh. And I thought we could kick off the episode by just go ahead and reading that off.
Okay.
So this is Yahoo Answers. What really happens in... let me start over. Here's our question. What really happens in Bermuda Triangle? Mm-hmm. Okay, subtext. We know this mysterious triangle. Ships and planes... Ships and plans disappears in this triangles. There are many theories about this triangle. What do you think is going on there?
Ships and plans.
We know this mysterious triangle.
We know this mysterious triangle.
We do know this mysterious triangle. And after this Conspiracy Facts podcast, you guys will also know this mysterious triangle. Dylan, what do you know about this mysterious triangle?
I know, I mean, like he said, a lot of ships and plans go missing there.
Which is unfortunate because you take a long time drafting up a plan.
Exactly. I'm sure it's a lot of blueprints at the bottom of there. And, got to be one of those things where there's so many plans down there.
And they just disappears.
Yeah, they just disappears.
In this triangles.
We all know about this triangles.
We know this mysterious triangle.
So what I know about the Bermuda Triangle is like that, so I know that the government tries to cover it up by saying it's just like a central point for a lot of storms. Mm-hmm. It has a lot of tropical weather and stuff that goes on out in the middle of the ocean. Mm-hmm. And since we don't really know a whole lot about like oceanic weather, that's why they're like, oh yeah, let's push this off on that.
Yeah. This mysterious triangle isn't mysterious at all. It's just got some gnarly weather.
Right, exactly. And that's what they try and blame it on. But that's not really what it is.
We know the facts. So let's get into some of the more famous accounts of the Bermuda Triangle. First of all, Bermuda Triangle is a 500,000 square foot span of ocean in the Atlantic that basically connects Miami, Puerto Rico. Oh, goodness.
Wait, hold on. Did you say 5,000 square feet?
Did I? I meant to say square miles.
I was about to say that is
small
not
triangle.
That's a size of like not even like a Dollar General store. Like
I don't know about that. I've seen some small Dollar
Generals. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True. Yeah. So the
Dollar bigger General. Than that. It's about the size of a Dollar General.
Yeah.
Out in the middle
Dollar
of the
General in the middle of the ocean.
Very mysterious.
Shaped like a triangle.
And no. Okay. Miami, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda, and that is the sort of the 3 points of the triangle. You connect them, and you get the Bermuda Triangle.
That's one thing that I find very interesting about this whole thing is. Like, okay, this is very obviously something that's not naturally there because how else could you have an exact triangle in the middle of the ocean?
You can't. Because, as we know, triangles are man-made.
Exactly.
They're math, they're science, and
Exactly.
And how'd that get out in the middle of the ocean?
Yeah, and so, just having like, the triangle shape there, it's not something that it's very. I mean, this is either alien or man. It's not natural.
Yeah. Nature doesn't do a lot of shapes.
No, nature. I mean, unless they're crop circles, those
are natural.
Natural. Until we discuss that further on this podcast.
Right. Until we get there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the more famous occurrences that have happened in this mysterious triangle. First off, it goes all the way back to literally Columbus.
Oh, yeah.
He reported strange happenings in the Bermuda Triangle, including his compass fucking up.
Yeah.
He saw strange lights in the sky, etc. And then he came and fucked everything up for the natives.
Right.
After that, we have literally hundreds of reports of missing ships, over 75 accounted missing planes, and probably more. So I want to talk about first the USS Cyclops.
Oh.
Which was a huge fuel ship, one of the biggest ships at the time, that was lost at sea in the year 1918. Yes, March 1918. This ship goes missing, and it had over 300 people on it. This is a 500 plus foot ship, a Navy ship. So all of the current technology.
500 plus what?
500 plus 54. I think it was 554 feet.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
But big ass ship just completely goes missing. No distress signals sent out. Why? It had done its regular check-ins. It had, there were signals back and forth. Everything was fine. It was equipped with all the latest technology. It should have been able to call for help had it needed it, but it went completely missing without a trace. No wreckage found, no bodies, nothing. Just gone. Nobody ever knows why. Except for our mysterious triangle.
The triangle.
The triangle knows.
Exactly.
Next we have Flight 19. And this was a group of 5 Avenger torpedo bombers that were doing just like a regular test flight. And the guy leading it was a flight instructor. He knew what he was doing. They took off from Florida, and they were just doing a little circling around and ended up getting very, very lost, despite, this being their home state and like where they were used to this airspace. They were military, so they were very well trained. Their compasses start malfunctioning in the air, and they end up being like several thousands of miles away from where they actually think they are, and they end up flying east out into the Atlantic whenever they in reality thought they were going towards Fort Lauderdale. And then there were some signals where they're talking about, listen, if we run out of fuel, if one of us goes down, we all go down, this kind of stuff. And then no other signals, nothing, no transmissions, just gone. And also no wreckage or anything ever found. Now, the Bermuda Triangle sits over some of the deepest points in the Atlantic Ocean. So a lot of people like to say that if these planes were to crash, or if the ships were to sink, it would be very likely that we would never end up finding them because they could sink so deep that there'd be no way. Which to me just doesn't explain it.
No.
How does this mysterious triangle take all of these ships and all of these planes without any trace? So I'd like to get into it a little bit.
Yeah.
First of all, in my opinion, what's truly unsettling about the Bermuda Triangle is that you think triangles. We know how to calculate, how big they are, their angles. We use them every single day. It's something we're familiar with our construction, with, everything, math and science. There's triangles everywhere, and we're very close to them. So when you have something like the Bermuda Triangle, who is a very large triangle that just sort of goes rogue and starts turning on humanity and taking our ships and taking our planes and our plans
Yeah.
and making them all disappear, it's scary. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's like an evil clown. You expect a clown to be funny.
Yeah.
You want to like a clown, but then it starts biting off kids' heads, and
Yeah.
it's like, this is even eerier than if it was just a big monster that you would expect to bite off a head.
Exactly.
You don't expect a triangle to go rogue.
No.
I might expect this kind of behavior from a circle because they're just elusive in general. A triangle, no way.
Right. And that's like, okay, so I have one good theory on it that I'll save for a little later, for after we go through all the facts and everything but I mean the triangle, it is a rogue being, and that's all I'll say for right now. But I agree. I think there is a lot more to delve into and dive into, and just kind of get figured out about this very big jum object.
It is jumming, to say the least.
So jumming.
So now I would like to go into a segment where we take your questions. So on Twitter, I asked everyone to submit some Bermuda Triangle questions, and I'd like to go through there and answer a few.
And the floor is still open, so if you're listening to this, go ahead and send us more questions.
Yep, and then listen and see if yours gets answered.
Spoiler alert.
Send it into the Bermuda Triangle. It might go through a time warp and get back to us.
At Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, .com.
.com. Twitter handle.
So Kai Mason asked, do you think Atlantis is somewhere in the Bermuda Triangle? Or that it's a portal to another dimension/universe? This is good because a lot of people do know that Atlantis was the famous city that was, they were doing everything right, and then all of a sudden they sunk.
Yeah, true.
And now they still exist at the bottom of the ocean somewhere. We've just yet to find them.
Yeah.
It would make perfect sense.
It would.
That Atlantis sits somewhere deep in the Atlantic rifts of the Bermuda Triangle, and perhaps it sees a ship passing by or a plane flying overhead, and it beckons them down to join their city, because we don't know if they do procreate down there.
Yeah.
They might just have to continue to kidnap more humans and take them down to their underwater city to continue filling jobs and thrive as an underwater economy. I'm sure it's not easy down there because they can't trade. They can't. I don't know the logistics of like if they can grow crops or really what all happens down there. But I think that kidnapping humans and their ships and stuff, at the very least, makes economical sense.
Yeah, I think so too. But I mean, there's also the theory. Okay, so Atlantis has been one of those things that we've wondered about for quite some time, but it's kind of gone a little off the radar. Now, however, what if at the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle is actually Atlanta?
Oh, Georgia.
Yeah, because I mean, have you ever been to Atlanta?
I have.
I don't believe that.
Okay.
I've never been to Atlanta. I don't know anyone who's ever been to Atlanta and came back from Atlanta. So therefore, it just doesn't exist. And if it does, it's at the bottom of the ocean.
Okay.
That's why they are starting to become a booming place, is because everyone's just deciding, hey, let's go to the Bermuda Triangle for the fun of it, and then getting sunk and going to Atlanta.
And they go to Atlanta.
And everyone's just stuck there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So once you go to Atlanta /Atlantis, you can't get back.
Right.
Okay. So Atlantis is actually Atlanta, Georgia.
Right.
And they're at the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle.
Right. And Georgia, they just had the Georgia to make it sound like it's, I mean, you're not going to be like, oh, where's Atlanta? Oh, I don't know. Like they're like, Georgia? Because who is in Georgia?
Who's going to go look for Atlanta in Georgia?
In Georgia. Yeah, exactly. Like, can you point out where Atlanta is on a map of Georgia? Exactly.
If I saw a map of the Bermuda Triangle, I probably could.
Right there.
Yep.
If I had a triangle-shaped finger, I would point there and I would cover the whole thing, because that's exactly where it is.
That's true.
And that's, I mean, the thing, I couldn't even point out where Georgia is on a map, probably.
I couldn't even point out a map. If you showed me a picture of a dog and a picture of a map, I wouldn't know which was
Find
which.
the difference.
If you gave me a spot the difference and the entire picture was two different pictures, I couldn't spot a single difference.
It's like, well, only for a dog and a map. If it was a dog and a cat, yeah, obviously we could, but or a cat and a jum, obviously.
Yeah, if you showed me a picture of a jum and said, take this to Atlantis, I'd head towards Georgia. And those are the facts.
Those are the facts. Those are the cold jump facts.
Our next question says, is that where Bikini Bottom is?
Who does it come from?
Jace.
Jace. Oh, hey, Jace.
Jace, that's a great question. Here's the thing. A lot of people think that Bikini Bottom is actually in the Pacific Ocean somewhere under Bikini Atoll.
Yeah, that's what
as part of the Marshall Islands.
Uh-huh.
And one fact that we do know about the Bermuda Triangle is that it is in some way a portal. Mm-hmm. There is something going on there where you go there, you get lost. Maybe you're going to Atlanta. Maybe it's shooting you off way somewhere else. And it could be that, there is a place in the Bermuda Triangle that does have a portal over to Bikini Bottom. Mm-hmm. And as we do know that, Bikini Bottom, a lot of reason why the creatures there are so fucked up is because of nuclear
testing,
nuclear runoff and leakage, and all sorts of crazy shit going on.
I hate nuclear leakage.
There's a lot of leakage. So those could have easily been from all these U.S. military ships or planes that are carrying these, nuclear bombs and what have you. And it gets thrown through the portal, and the container breaks open, and it splashes down right onto Bikini Bottom.
Splashes right on down.
Splash down.
Yep. Splash mouth.
Splash mouth. Hey now, you're a mysterious triangle. So I think yes. Now maybe Bikini Bottom doesn't actually physically reside there. Yeah. But there is a way to Bikini Bottom through the Bermuda Triangle, and when you think about it, the Bermuda Triangle is similar to SpongeBob SquarePants in the sense that they are both shapes.
Now, okay, so question. Mm-hmm. You have a globe in here, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me see that.
What is directly across it from the Earth?
Yeah.
It is between, I think, Antarctica and Australia.
Ooh, that's kind of where Bikini Atoll is.
That is
there is
close.
A hole. There might be a hole that goes all the way from the Bermuda Triangle to Bikini Atoll, and that's kind of where it all. I mean, it's not necessarily a portal as much as it is just a tube system, like Mario.
Mm-hmm. You go down the tube.
Bloop, bloop. Yep.
Your little running plumber doing your thing.
Dipsy
doodle down, and jump across there.
Yeah. Which, by the way, now that we're on the topic, what is Mario's purpose? Besides saving the princess, why pick a plumber?
I would need more information to go off.
I think so too. Yeah.
I have no clue. I have no opinion. I have no fact. Next up, we have a question from Tyler who says, what is the most popular or convincing evidence?
Okay. Really? You asking yourself though the questions?
I did. I got a little desperate. I didn't know if anyone was going to reply.
Okay, well, I'm going to tweet at you.
This one. Okay, perfect. The most popular or convincing evidence for me is right in the name itself. Mm-hmm. Bermuda Triangle.
Yep.
What else, has an iconic triangle in the conspiracy facts community? Obviously, it's the Illuminati.
Exactly.
And as we know, the triangle itself is a sentient, malicious shape that has gone rogue and is now using all other triangles in existence against us. And that's what's hard, is because there are triangles in our imaging systems. There's triangles in our compasses. There's triangles everywhere. And so when this Bermuda Triangle gets upset or wants to manipulate these triangles to use them against us, it can. And what a lot of people don't understand is, even though the face of the Illuminati in many ways has been these big pop culture celebrities, and just rich people in general, leaders of corporations, what have you, there is one ultimate supreme leader of the Illuminati, and I think the facts are pretty clear.
That's where I was going to go. Triangle. What do you associate when you see triangle? Diamond, a baseball, square, SpongeBob, triangle, Illuminati, and that's just the global symbol for it, and that's what. That has to have something to do with why everything's going missing. You don't see some little speedboat getting captured by the Bermuda Triangle. No. You don't see some cars getting. No. It's only military vessels, big planes, military plane. It's a lot of big, high-profile stuff taken in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yep.
To create their own. To help enforce
the Illuminati master race or whatever it is. What is it? The New World Order. That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
The New World Order of, very good military.
Yeah,
Let's take the U.S. military.
Yes, exactly.
Let's take their pop stars.
Mm-hmm.
Let's ship some stuff over to Bikini Bottom. Bikini Jum. as a distraction, everyone's going to be looking at Bikini Bottom saying, oh, look at this funny little square. Put them on TV. Meanwhile, the Bermuda Triangle, the supreme leader of the Illuminati, is collecting lots of things
Yeah.
to perhaps at some point use against us.
Yeah. No, I fully agree.
And that to me is the most popular and the most convincing evidence.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tyler, for your question. We have a new question sent in from Dylan. And this says, how can you tell it triangle is bad news tomorrow? #conspiracy facts. That is exactly what I would expect from someone named Jum to tweet at us.
I'm going to change my Twitter handle to Jum.
Please.
At Jum.
Jum.
Can I do that?
Yes. How can you tell it triangle? Well, this is because we have taken the 3 points on the map here, which are Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, and we've connected them, and the shape that comes out is none other than a triangle.
Right.
And that's how we can tell.
Okay.
Is it bad news tomorrow? It's bad news every day. Because as long as the Bermuda Triangle, this sick, twisted triangle, is allowed to reign free over the open ocean and airspace and portals and everything, we cannot live in a society where, this angry triangle overlord is doing its best under wraps too. It's being covered up by the government, as we've already mentioned.
Yeah.
To take from us.
Yeah, wraps, paninis, melts.
Yes.
I get it. That's a great question, Dylan. Thanks for writing in.
Yep. Okay. We're going to do one more question and then we're going to move on from this segment. And this is from Megan. And that's all I'm going to read because I don't understand the next.
It looks like it's pronounced Megan Jum.
I think you're right. Is it aliens? Has anyone come back from the Bermuda Triangle? Well, so despite the fact that there are many ships and planes that go missing, the Bermuda Triangle is still actually a very busy and well used place of travel. There are a lot of ships that go through there daily. There are a lot of planes that fly through there daily. So there are.
I'd say there are survivors.
Survivors. Yes, survivors do exist. However, they are few and far between.
Yep.
And is it aliens? That's a great question because a lot of people know that when your ship is in the Bermuda Triangle or your aircraft or your plane, when it starts to go haywire, first thing that's going to go... This didn't go as planned for many people.
Yeah, my plans have been foiled.
And that's why we wear tinfoil hats.
Bingo. That's it. Podcast. We will see you tomorrow.
Jum. So a lot of people think that, when their compasses are going wild, it's because the aliens are there messing with their systems to try to draw them into their ships so they can take them and do experiments on them. A lot of flights through the Bermuda Triangle have reported lights in the sky, strange ships and sounds and weird findings on the radar before all signal is lost and they disappear forever. Some planes have even been reported to basically whenever they're looking at like the flight logs and stuff, the plane just starts ascending with no explanation and just goes and goes and goes until it falls off the radar.
Huh.
And then it's gone forever.
Whoa.
And that's a very strange thing to have happen.
That is very... I'm not any kind of flight expert, and nor do I have too many years of flight training, but that is abnormal from what I know. From
my understanding, and I do fly roughly 2 or 3 times a year, that has never happened on one of my flights.
Yeah, it has. I mean, I go on a flight every 3-4 years. So far,
you've never experienced ascension.
No. I'm well. Okay, I have experienced ascension once. When I was going to Boston, we were going down this big road, and then all of a sudden, the plane just started rising.
And that is takeoff as usual, is what you're describing.
But it was weird though. Like,
but it stopped rising at some point, and then perhaps a few hours later,
I thought I was dead.
descended.
Like, it looked like it was heaven, and then all of a sudden it was like God was saying, like,
so what you're
we'll put
seeing
you
is
right back
clouds.
down. Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
That is actually, that's normal. That all checks out as being very, very average flight experience.
That's the weird thing though, is like whenever like I was being set back down, I was set on like another like long road that looked just like the one that I had just come off of, except I was somewhere else.
Yes.
And it was like I just got picked up and moved.
Right. So that is actually the entire point of air travel. So what you're describing is a runway, and a plane cannot land or take off without one of those.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, if you say so, I will mark this as jump.
Yeah, that's just a sort of a jump experience, and everything you've said was really fucking jump. So, so I'm glad we've taken some time to discuss that.
Yeah.
We are going to take a little jump, and we will be right jump. So don't forget to jump back for more jump facts.
And if you do forget, jump you.
Hello, my jums.
Everybody jump.
Everybody jump.
It's me.
Jump around.
Jump around.
We are here to tell you all about the wonderful ways that you can support the Jumpcast. First of all, you can go over to adorableaesthetic.com. Dylan, tell us all about that.
Adorable Aesthetic, they have all kinds of cool jump that you can buy. They have hats, t-shirts, socks, underwear. They have deodorant, soap.
So most of that is
tires.
actually not true. But just go ahead and go check out Adorable Aesthetic and you'll see what they do have.
AdorableAesthetic.com.
And there's no jumps in that.
/
16 jumps. Next up we have the Patreon. You can support us on Patreon. We even have a dedicated podcast here, which will allow you early access and video for every single episode of the Conspiracy Facts podcast. And what else do they get?
They also get free jump. If you
yeah, if you pay $10, you get free jump.
There's also the dedicated jump tier.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than the podcast tier, so if you don't love us as much, do the jump tier. But you can also get the higher up jump tier, which is better than the podcast tier.
That's right.
Any tier you get helps support directly the podcast. Get some jump.
You'll also get bonus episodes every month if you get the podcast tier, and other jumps such as that. Finally, the last way that you can support us
is just give me cash.
Just send us over some cash in the mail. P.O. Box 308, Colcord, Oklahoma 74338.
Or you can send me a letter, autograph it, and I'll send you back some jump.
Yeah, you send us some jump. Don't actually send us cash in the mail, guys. You can support us through my merch store, which is linked in the description. We got some cool shirts, a new one with jum all over it.
It's just a big jum, like
just
Comic Sans font jum.
So enjoy that and enjoy the rest of the podcast.
Or should we say in jum?
In jum it. Welcome back to the Jumpcast. We are Rodeo Jones.
Rodeo Jones together.
And we're here to talk all about
more jump.
Bermuda jump. So, a big case that a lot of people like to make about the Bermuda Triangle, it has something to do with electronic fog. Do you have any experience with this or know what it is?
No. I've dealt with electric eels.
Mm-hmm.
Electric fog is out of my jurisdiction.
Yes, that's what I thought. So, electronic fog is this phenomenon. It's these dark clouds of electromagnetic fields, and they engulf ships and aircrafts. And the fog itself actually, the ship doesn't move through the fog the way it does normal fog. The fog surrounds it and moves with the ship. And it causes all the radar to go wild. Basically any kind of electronics are going to react to this and do all sorts of weird beeps and boops and
Pleeps and ploops.
Pleep, ploop, malfunction, all of the things.
All of the things.
So I have a little bit of a fact here
Okay.
about electronic fog because I have personally experienced it before. So I'd like to just sort of, recount what happened with me.
Oh, okay. I'll allow it.
Okay, good. So a few years back, I was really into EDM, and I went to a Skrillex concert. And as the night progressed, through pyrotechnics, through vaping, through just fog effects in general,
right,
the whole place just filled up with fog.
Yeah.
Lights are flashing, electronic music is playing, and there's fog everywhere. Time passes. I don't even know what is happening. I don't know where I am. I don't know where I've come from, where I'm going, etc. So the night ends and I leave, the arena, and I'm fine. As soon as I get out of the fog, I'm fine. And I see them open up the ceiling of the stadium, which was before covered, and they open it up and they release all the fog, and it all together floats away. Now I know that fog was probably headed towards the Bermuda Triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle.
And so my guess is that, this electronic fog that is created at these EDM concerts goes there, and when it's surrounding these ships and it's playing this loud music, it's flashing these lights, and it is trying to, manipulate the instruments to help make this EDM music. And it wants the beeps, it wants the boops.
Right.
The Skrillex drops and the sound effects. But the pilots are saying, I'm just trying to fly safely home to my family. This is not what I asked for.
Right.
Skrillex drop the bass. Booms through the speakers.
Right. Lots of jums and booms.
So many jums happening. And it confuses the shit out of them.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm surprised. I mean, from what I know about those Skrillex events is like, I'm surprised that they didn't talk about that, because I know that they're very educational. The conferences, the Skrillex conferences, people have the Skrillex talks and everything. So
yes.
So I'm surprised that they didn't mention anything about like possible side effects. Because I mean, I've experienced something like that before, where like a big event going on, lots of fog, lots of disorienting stuff going on, and I pull out my compass and it's just going haywire.
Yes.
And it's one of those, it's scary. It's so hard to keep your calm, because like my north, south, east, west, cardinally, where am I at?
Right. And you can't know.
Exactly.
But at least you're on land.
Right.
And you're not trying to man some sort of, military
Vessel.
ship.
Right.
And that's what's very hard about the Bermuda Triangle. When all this electronic fog goes over there, and as we know, who are some of the biggest faces of the Illuminati? It's musicians.
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore has
faces.
so many big faces, at least 4 that we know of.
That we know
So
of.
when when this electronic fog is being created by these Illuminati musicians, it would make sense that it would go to the source, to the hub, once it's been created. And that's sort of why I think the electronic fog is responsible for a lot of the music production. Because if you hear Skrillex and there's no electronic fog around, it just sounds bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up. And the facts just aren't there without it.
Right. And so I think that can kind of be summed up into we are pawns of industry, and we unknowingly and unwittingly are blinded by the fact that we are helping produce these electronic fogs.
Yes.
That are then being used by the Illuminati. I mean, do you really think that Skrillex does that full time? He can't afford to do that full time. He gets paid a government contract to help mislead everyone, get the vapes going, the music flowing, the bass pumping, and and that creates the electronic fog that goes all the way to Bermuda.
Yes.
That's why, I don't know if you ever saw, but the concert that I went to, the show that I went to, there was a big fan outside the festival.
Yep.
And it was blowing in
always have fans.
Yeah, exactly. It was blowing in a direct southeast, more of a east-southeast direction.
Which you knew from your compass beforehand. Then as soon as the fog was around, you couldn't tell which direction it was flowing.
Right.
Luckily, you checked beforehand.
Yeah, I checked before. I always check beforehand. I check for any big fans. Check for any, just to get an idea of where I'm at. Check my coordinates. And the fan was positioned to where it would blow east-southeast.
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, it was.
That's facts.
Yeah, that is facts. Skrillex is creating the electronic fog.
And if you'll notice, because we've never really talked about chemtrails on the podcast before.
No. Who is that?
Chemtrails.
Chemtrails.
She is. She is one of the biggest proponents of electronic fog. Yeah.
Kim.
So, Kim, a lot of people think that she is being released from planes.
Oh, yeah.
My fact is different. My fact is that the electronic fog is following these planes, trying to entrap them, And that's what we see as these chemical trails is her full name.
Yeah,
Chemical X.
Gotcha.
And so that's why there are so many Powerpuff Girls in the Bermuda Triangle.
No way.
But no. So a lot of people think that these chemtrails are these big harmful chemicals being released by the government in these planes that fly over our head, used to control us, make us weak, etc. No, it is the electronic fog going after these planes to take them to our Illuminati overlord, the Bermuda Triangle, so that they can do what they will with them.
Yeah.
To create the New World Order.
Now, okay, so we know we got to get down, I think, to the basics of the history of the Bermuda Triangle. Like who was Bermuda, and why did he or she or they create this triangle?
Well, as we all know, triangles are without gender.
Oh, okay, sorry. So in that case, so why would they set this up in the beginning? When did they set it up? Why did they set it up? Who were they planning to jump? Why did they want the planes, boats, and jumps and plans?
That's a very good question. Excuse me. I think that a lot of it comes back to the creation of the Illuminati. As we know, I mean, going back in history, we started with Pangea.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, the Bermuda Triangle wasn't there forever. As, you know, the world, the planets, the plates, everything started shifting to, you know, become how we see it today, topography and whatnot.
Yeah. Compared to bottomography.
Bottomography is more when we get down into the depths.
Gotcha.
So we're talking about the
that
topography.
goes back to the Middle Earth episode.
Yes.
We're talking about topography.
Yeah, so go check out our Middle Earth episode. Hollow Earth episode.
Hollow Earth. Same thing.
Yeah. Bottomography Earth.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that the Bermuda Triangle is sort of like a cosmic being that has always existed, but has just sort of shown up, knowing that humanity has gained some knowledge and technology, and it wants to sort of be the ultimate triangle here on Earth. If I had to guess, I'd say the Bermuda Triangle came from a universe of triangle beings that were also very powerful, equally, you know, smart and all-knowing, and able to produce portals and fogs and what have you. If I don't really know too much, and I'm not a therapist, so I can't really dive into this, but I'd say that maybe the reason this Bermuda Triangle, this mysterious triangle that we all know, is so upset and angry, and wants to control the humans in the way that it is trying to do, is because, you know, maybe it has some things lingering around from childhood that it really hasn't been able to get into.
Right. So do you think, not trying to delve too much into the Illuminati, but if the Bermuda Triangle being is what has kind of helped start off the Illuminati, is that what people call the all-seeing eye really is? It's not a pyramid. It's more of just a scaly triangle with one eye.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of like, that's just what it is. And that's kind of the mascot of it rather than a symbol.
Right, exactly. So it could very well be a pyramid. The only thing that really matters is the shape, the triangle.
Okay.
If it is a mascot and it is like a scaly triangle being, it's more of a representation of sort of like the lizard people that run the Illuminati. That's where the scales come from. The eye of, you know, the Bermuda Triangle itself is all-seeing, all-knowing. It can control almost whatever it wants to.
Yeah.
And I think so. It's more of a representation rather than like a factual picture of what the Illuminati's, leader, the Bermuda Triangle, actually looks like.
Yeah, and I think that's very good points. I mean, it's just goes to show it's not. I mean, it really has to do with nothing natural. Anything that the government says it's anti-Bermuda Triangle is just covering it up.
I believe so.
I mean, it has to be. It's a fact. It's how it's.
That's how it's made.
Yeah, how it's made.
You're watching Discovery Channel's How It's Made,
starring Micro.
And this episode has been about jump.
Lots of jump. And you know, it's great to know exactly how it's made.
That's true. So, I think that about wraps it up for my Bermuda Triangle facts.
Yeah,
I mean, we've really uncovered a lot of truth here today regarding portals and other worlds and Jum, Tubes 2, Bikini Bottom, Electronic Fog, and how Skrillex is creating that to take ships.
Rodeo Jones,
and the Jum Parade all coming to town this week on the Conspiracy Facts podcast. Now, we are going to segue into our weekly segment that we do, which is our very own conspiracy, and that is that every single Top 100 song played in chronologically from the 1980s tells the story of the Wizard of Oz. So this week we are doing Escape, in parentheses, the Pina Colada song.
2 pina coladas.
Yes, by Robert Holmes. So go listen to that and then come right back. Jum. And we're back.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like pina coladas?
I like getting caught in the rain.
Are you into yoga?
I do have half a brain.
Okay, perfect.
And another half.
You have 2 halves of 1 brain, and that is all you can really ask for. So, Dylan, let's hear your facts.
Okay, so if you look at the lyrics, from the get-go, you can tell, okay, I was tired of my lady. What other lady is there in this movie that makes any, like, it's Dorothy, you know? That,
of course, the leading lady.
Right, and you never really hear Toto's side of this whole debacle.
And I think that's really what we've been waiting for.
Exactly. He's along for the ride. And really his thoughts are, I was tired of my lady, we'd been together too long. We don't really know how old Toto is, but he's a full-grown dog. I mean, he's tiny, but he's full-grown.
And he's lived his entire life under the thumb of Dorothy. Mm-hmm. And we see multiple times throughout the movie that he does, in fact, try to run away from her.
Yeah, exactly.
And gets over to, the woman's basket. Yeah. Somehow she takes him. And so multiple times we see that he's, in a sense, trying to get away from Dorothy.
Exactly. I mean, in the personal columns, there was this letter I read, if you like pina coladas, yada, 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 I'm the love you've looked for, write to me and escape. So what that means is, it could be an allusion to, subliminally in one of the deleted scenes, there could have been someone having pina coladas in Oz.
I think that's in the background.
I think so.
Of when they get to the Emerald City and it's beautiful and they're going through everything. I think there's a few background characters and sipping pina coladas.
And that's the thing about it. Emerald in Spanish is pina colada. That's a fact. And,
that is a fact.
But I mean, it could also be. I mean, maybe the Miss Hannigan or whatever the lady's name is from who becomes the Wicked Witch. Mm-hmm. No, Miss Hannigan is. I
think that's Matilda.
I thought it was Little Orphan Annie.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Anyways,
whatever her name is. Maybe she's wanting to go have a drink, and Toto's like, "Please, bitch, take me with you." Like, true.
Like, I want to go. I'll just get me away from Dorothy.
I think it also kind of alludes to the overarching theme of the entire story, which maybe not necessarily is talking about a literal woman, but maybe just the monotony of everyday life at the farm. For everyone, they kind of all have something that they're wanting to escape one way or the other. The Munchkins want to escape the Wicked Witch. Dorothy wants to escape the farm. Toto wants to escape Dorothy. And it just sort of goes down the line in that similar sense. And I think that it sort of talks about, in a lot of ways, The Wizard of Oz is about escapism and just sort of having to come to terms with the fact that even if you try really hard to get away, everywhere you go is still going to be pretty shitty.
Yes, unless you're in an escape room, and therefore you are there for an hour, and then you're good.
And then you're good, and you want to do the riddles. You paid for that,
right?
That
it's good money.
It is good money, and I think with that, I think we're good.
That about jums it up.
Jesus Christ! Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Don't forget to check out Adorable Aesthetic. The Patreon and my merch store. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your jum. And as always,
technologicize your jum.